Good morning and welcome to Inside Running on Tab Radio Racing and Sports.
Magnificio races to the lead, getting through Waterman's Bay. Magnificio narrowly from Waterman's Bay.
Our team will evaluate each race, interview leading contenders and update TABtouch markets.
But now Delicacy, here she comes. Delicacy under the 59, went to Neverland and Real Love Dark Musket. It's Delicacy against the inside. Sublime, brilliant, greatness in the cup.
We trust you will enjoy this edition of Inside Running. Now, over to the team for their look at today's meeting.
And a very, very good morning, everyone tuned into Inside Running on Group 1 Northerly Stakes Day. It is 22 degrees and we will have a top of 33 degrees today here in Perth. And the first of 9 at Ascot comes up at 12:29. And, of course, calling all the action, as per usual, Darren McAullay. Darren, a very good morning to you.
Thanks indeed, Leah. Good morning to you as well. Good morning, all. And lovely to have your company, too, as we continue the Pinnacles. We have arrived at the last of the Group 1s here for the Pinnacles series, the TABtouch Northerly Stakes. Today, the 1800 weight for age feature, and that'll be backed up by the running of the GA Towton Cup. I think the weather forecast there, Leah, that you touched upon just a couple of moments ago, 33 degrees. The significance of that is that there's going to be a fairly profound easterly wind blowing and no sou'wester. Even later on in the day, it'll tend sou'easterly. So it certainly is going to have, I think, an impact, a reasonable impact on this meeting today. Digby, Beacham, Scott Embry, as always, have knuckled in over the form guide this morning. Gentlemen, to both of you, a warm welcome here as we continue our look at the Northerly Stakes. It's been a big build-up through the course of the week, Diggs.
It has.
And Scotty, you've been right at the very forefront of it all. And how do you see it at this very moment? With a big field lining up and with conditions here that are going to, at the very least, we all believe, favour horses that are going to be settling near the pace today.
Look, cannot wait for it, Darren. Good morning to you, Leah, Scott and listeners. We've got a really even edition of the Northerly Stakes. I think it's fair to say we've seen stronger runnings of it, Scott, but when you factor in a 3-year-old filly who has gone to a new level in her past 2 starts with the East Coast Raiders, some unlucky horses in a railway stakes, for mine, it's still our best race, the Northerly, because of the intrigue that is attached to it.
Good morning, boys. And I suppose the best part about that race is even if there is a pattern emerging throughout the day that it tends to be a little bit on speed with that easterly, you normally would get the races at a mile and beyond that are less and less impacted. The further the distance, the less impact the wind seems to have on them. And in a race where we've had, throughout betting, 3 different favourites already since barrier draws. As soon as the barrier draw was completed, the new favourite was Attrition, then was quickly overtaken by Storyville, and then the big market move yesterday, or should I say Thursday, in the space of about an hour nationwide, Super Smink went from $7.50 into favourite in one fell swoop. So there's a lot of difference of opinion in the Northerly, and it makes for a great betting contest and, more importantly, a great viewing contest.
I think it absolutely will be there. Storyville, well, she could well be one of the great stories of this Pinnacle and Spring, of course, with the Grant and Alana Williams team. I think they've won this, on 4 occasions, the race to date. Neville Parnham, of course, is represented in there as well. He's won it about 3 times, twice with the Playing God. And Scotty, I know that you've been very, very bullish in regards to Storyville. Well, that's for good reason too, because the fillies have featured prominently, the good fillies. There hasn't been many of them that have run in the race over the last 9 years.
But the good ones have stood up. And so hopefully for Storyville, she can at least be highly competitive in that race today. And certainly doing a market read on it, I'd be shocked if she wasn't popular late in betting, because I know that the nag from people out there is going to be, is she at the same level as the big names that you reel off? She's not an Arcadia Queen.
She's not.
Amelia Jewel. She's not a Perfect Reflection.
No.
She's not a KC, I'm sure people would say. But at the same time, there is a filly in there called Tuscan Queen. She still jumped $3.10 favourite. Didn't go close to winning. But what I'm saying is, in terms of market support, normally the late money will continue to trend for the filly.
Okay. Well, it'll all unfold at 4:55 today, so we're really looking forward to that. What have you made of the support card for the program, Diggs?
Bit thinner than you'd like, I think, Darren, to be fair. The Towton Cup's
fair assessment.
Interesting race as we build towards January 1, and that's going to have a great deal of interest, and it might well have a bearing on who is going to be favourite come, Sunday morning, but I think the 2-year-old race, the race 2, the 76 as opposed to the 78, sort of miles a bit thin. The 3-year-old race, Done So Spicy's coming out of midweek grade and is an odds-on favourite. So there's probably an element of depth lacking to the support card.
Agree. I would completely concur with you there. Hey, whilst we're just talking about the big races today and top horses, particularly for those of the past, some of our younger audience may not have been aware of the deeds of a horse who captured our imagination, Diggs, through the 1990s in the great sprinter miler Jacks or Better. And I was very saddened to hear yesterday, albeit age will get everyone eventually,
yes,
that at 33 years of age, an incredible life that Jacks or Better lived after his retirement. A horse who won a Karrakatta Plate as a 2-year-old, went on to win a Railway Stakes and so many other races, 19 of 91 runs in a wonderfully decorated racing career for Rick Hart and of course the late George Daly as well. And unfortunately, like all good things, they come to an end, and he said farewell to us down at Alwyn Park yesterday. Johnny Andrew giving us a call and spoke with Rick Hart about Jacks or Better, and of course he's been a part of Rick's life since he was a yearling, and to say farewell to him, I'm sure, was touched with a bit of sadness.
Oh, absolutely. Was a wonderful horse. Has so many horses in that era running on a firm 2 most of the time, weren't they? Or a fast 2, whatever they called
Bowling
it.
Greens.
Caravilla, was he?
He was a Caravilla out of Club Flush.
There you go, yeah. Yep, that's right.
It's a good innings. That's older than Leia and I.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he was a star, though. Jacks or Better. A proper horse. A really, really good horse.
Makes it for a good question, too. I don't know whether or not he's still going, but I know he was up until about 12 months ago. Do you remember Non-Aqua? The Great Bunbury Cup winner for the Pinnacles and Co. Down in the Great Southern. He was going around at about 35 or 36. I think still down there at the farm in the Great Southern. So longevity is not afforded to many great turf stars of the past, that is for sure and certain, but Jacks or Better lived a wonderful life up at Rick Hart's farm there and in latter years at fabulous Alwyn Park. So a big salute to Jacks or Better and the thrills that he gave us from way back in the 1990s. Let's go to the changes for the day at Ascot. We're opening up at 12:29 with the program, and on ground that will be a good 4. It'll be fast going with that easterly prevailing. Opening event is for the 2-year-olds, and there are no changes with 8 to run in the Magic Millions plate. In fact, scratchings are very, very thin all day. The Swan Draft Handicap, race number 2, it's a pay 1-2 with a field of 7. The third event is the running of the Racing Towards Better plate, and 9 will go. No changes there. On to race number 4, and again, a field of 10 in the MCA Polytrack Handicap. It is clear. Race 5, the Schweppes Handicap over 2,200. No changes to come there. They'll go at 8 after 3. The final of the TABtouch West Speed Platinum Series is race 6 on the program, and there are, again, no changes. Race 7, the GA Towton Cup, is clear also. So we come to the TABtouch $1.5 million Northerly Stakes, our Group 1 feature, and 17 and 18 Russian to the Bar and Flower of Gold coming out there. Russian to the Bar will go into an earlier race on the program. A little disappointing that Flower of Gold couldn't have got a run. I thought that she was probably the equal of Storyville in their performances in the Guineas last time around too. She was a beauty, but unfortunately she doesn't make the cut in the Northerly. And in that final event on the card at 5:30, the TABtouch Handicap, we can take out number 4, Paddy's Flying, which becomes the only other scratching for the day. Significant riding change too. Willie Pike has got on to Lon's Delight, who was 13 into 8. I saw it was around $10 this morning, but whether or not that was Pike's engagement or they were captivated by the first up run for Mitch Payton, that could have been, well, the reason. Regardless, Pike has a ride now in the last event of the day, and that'll be much to the great glee of those who follow the Wizard. So those are the changes. They are very, very minimal on this continuation of the Pinnacles for 2024. We've hit 9 minutes after 8 o'clock. We're about to hit 22 degrees in Perth with an easterly there this morning, and we're about to hit this commercial break as well. We'll be back on the other side of it with Digby, Scotty, and our thoughts for today's program.
You're tuned into TAB Radio this Saturday, 8:11 a.m. And we are going to preview the card today at Ascot. The first comes up at 12:29. Darren and the favourite one buckled here at 250 and 130 with the TABtouch fixed odds.
Okay, yes, the market for the opening event. Might just have a dig a deep dive there. Buckled 380 into 240. Castle Road 460 and 380 into 320. Do I feel lucky in that first race? Okay, look, no stars from what we've seen so far. A few have had a run and haven't been overly impressive, it must be said, but there's a couple of intriguing newcomers to the 2-year-old ranks, and one of those is from Paul Jordan's yard in Castle Road, a safeguard who's out of a really good juvenile winning family. There have been a host of individual running 2-year-olds that have scored from that pedigree. And the other one is from Sean and Jake Casey's yard, and that's a horse called Do I Feel Lucky. Not a great race to start the day for the 2-year-olds and what we've seen.
Very thin on number. Funnily enough, though, Do I Feel Lucky's actually out of a full sister to Castle Road. Mindari by Safeguard.
There you go.
Out of Clare Castle.
Yep, absolutely.
Small world.
Tell you what, it's try and paint it. More specialism, Chinetti, Castle Retreat. They're all out of that same family. They've been really good, haven't they, for the late Harvey Crossman and all of those that are still involved in racing with Paul Jordan. And
the way that he trialled up, he's probably going to nearly bounce on the top, or at least be attempting to bounce on the top. And over 1,000 metres, if you find the fence at Ascot with an easterly breeze, you're near on halfway home at 2-year-old level at least. So I would think that Castle Road will give plenty of cheek. Yeah, I agree with you there too. Do you have a particular view on this 2-year-old race to start the day, Diggs? Can your horse win?
I think, he can. The market says he can. He's really, really short, though, buckled. I couldn't have envisaged that he would be at that quote this morning. The first up, or the debut run, was fair. He got on the chewy a little bit. The shades have been removed. Once the speed slackened in that race, mid-race, he got a bit keen. So from barrier 1, with the benefit of race experience, I think Brad will be aiming to try and kick him out and hold the fence. And if he does hold the fence from there, it is going to be a prime piece of real estate, no question. There's a big learning curve for horses that have had a run, and that do have some ability. So, and with that gear change, I think it's an important one, given the fact that he did fire up a fair bit on debut. You'd expect that Buckle's going to come forward considerably. I don't have a great handle on the race, Scotty.
No, well, if
you're not bullish on 2-year-old races usually, anyway.
I've been playing into them this year, as in a lot more interest than recent years, but this one doesn't really get me. But if you talk about buckled, he went around $5 on the third line of betting behind Yes Queen and Torcanco in a Crystal Slipper now, so understandably he probably has to be short in this field, but he's not going to get me. I actually went with Do I Feel Lucky. I didn't think there was that much between the two trials of Do I Feel Lucky and Castle Road. I'll go that way. 3 from 2, 1 buckled. If you're talking about the Crystal Slipper and watching the replay, Tango Rhythm was probably a better run than buckled. Just one went around $5, one went around 90 to 1. 3, 2, 1 and 7. They've beaten a long way, both horses, but I think it's fair to say too that Yes Queen and Torcanco did absolutely gap them. There was daylight back to the others, so you have to take that into some consideration. I thought in the barrier trial, Diggs Castle Road might have just been doing a little bit better and stronger through the line than Do I Feel Lucky, but it just depends on who's coming on out of that trial and who's plateauing probably at that particular stage. So I went with Castle Road from the good 2-year-old family. 3, Do I Feel Lucky. Your representative in buckled as well. And 7, agree with you completely, Scotty. Tango Rhythm, I think they're the 4, 2, 3, 1, 7. Same 4 numbers for me. I'm also with Castle Road here. The mare has had 8 to the track for 8 winners. So you know what you're going to get. Paul Jordan understands the family particularly well, and the trial was nice and strong. He looks a nice, big, smooth-moving gelding, and he needs to be respected on debut. So 2 on top from 1 buckled, 3, Do I Feel Lucky, and 7, Tango Rhythm, 2, 1, 3, 7.
All right, so Darren 2317, Diggers 2137, and Scott 3217. Similar numbers at different placings. Of course, good luck to you, Diggers, here in the first. Race 2 at Ascot comes up at 1:08, and we've got the favourite here on the TABtouch fixed, Darren 7, Keshi Boom at 250. Yeah, we'll dig in a little deeper there again. 265 did come into 245, Keshi Boom, with blinkers going on. Others to consider, Russian to the Bar, who comes out of the Northerly as the first emergency, 390 into 360 as well there.
Not much beyond that. Investment strategies $4.40 out to around $6. Very small field. Does that suit a horse like Keshi Boom, do you think, in this circumstance?
I think probably for her it's maybe more so about getting the blinkers on for the first time and whether they can sharpen her up. The punters had a lick at her last start. I know in a post-race interview, Grant Williams gave her a really big push too, suggesting that that was the race for her. And it is a little bit hard to tell in the replay with the drone shot that starts. The replay's there, but she missed it quite noticeably. If you had a side-on view of it, she probably missed it by a length, and then she's just ended up last, back on the inside. I thought she worked to the line okay without being great.
Is the jury out still as to whether you think Keshi Boom might be back somewhere near that level that she showed early doors?
I think it has to be.
The data would suggest she's not at the level she was as a 3-year-old. The figures aren't anywhere near as impressive.
No.
Now, that's not saying she can't win today with the addition of cups in a small field, and she's got a very good turn of acceleration, but on raw figures, she's lengths off what she was producing as a 3-year-old.
Pace-wise, in there's no shortage of it. You'll probably, and it'll have to jump cleanly. It missed the kick the other day. Investment strategy, and Fast Flicker's got a bit of early dash as well. Bruce Almighty will roll forward there. How do you see this in a small field where tactically they might stack and want to rack them a little bit here too with that easterly behind them?
Yeah, that's the way I saw it. I thought no matter how that early speed battle between that trio, who should be able to sort it out between themselves in the very early stages, I think from there the brakes might go on, and then they just pinch a few cheap sections down the back and then start to roll from the sort of 600 or 800. So I'm going to continue to follow this mare of Tony Triscari's, who just keeps winning.
What a strike rate she's got. 50% strike rate. Goes to the races. You know what you're going to get with her every single time. Fast Flicker. You know where she's going to be. And you know at the end of the day you're going to be standing in either the head of the queue at the tote, or you're collecting through your app, your betting app.
It's an exaggeration, but Tony Triscari nearly goes at 50%. You know, every time he takes on to the races, they're well supported and they run invariably well.
Keeps them select, doesn't he? Doesn't send them too many around, not a big volume of horses.
Nope, and everyone that he's got at the moment, they're all good. So 2 for me, Fast Flicker. I know she gets out to a mile here for only the second time in her life, but she's really tough. She looked almost beaten at the point of the corner the other day and was still able to fend them off late. So 2 Fast Flicker. From 7 Keshi Boom. I'm more so banking on maybe the blinkers for the first time having an effect on her, and really hopeful too for all those connections that she can start to return to somewhere near her best. 3 Bruce Almighty. Didn't think he got much luck last start. Luke Campbell was looking for a run and just got knocked over late when Troy Turner and Own the Queen was bursting through. And 5 Russian to the Bar. Just concerned with him that from the draw, 6 of 7, they may need to snag him back to near on last. 2, 7, 3, 5.
Yeah, I've got a feeling deep within, Diggs, this could finish up being a bit of a messy run affair.
Trap race, Darren. It's got that feel about it. You can make a case, or you can pot a few in this race. I thought it was a very difficult race to dissect, but I actually thought maybe from that low draw, investment strategy could find the top. And if that's the way it pans out at an each way quote in a small field, he wasn't completely and utterly the worst. So 4 each way, investment strategy on top from 5. Russian to the Bar, found the line very well there last start behind Fast Flicker, and you'd like to think today 4th up off no trial is approaching peak fitness. 2 Fast Flicker, no knock on her, and 7 Keshi Boom. It's been over a year since she won a race. Just need to see her bounce back to her best before I can confidently have her on top, or certainly anywhere near that quote. 4, 5, 2, 7.
She has got a champion fillies kill at 1,600 there to her credit. The small field will suit, but I agree with you. I think this is a race fraught with a little bit of danger. I have gone with her. Whether Willie wants to be out the back and let them dictate and then try and loop them here, because she does have a nice turn of acceleration, as we've seen, and the blinkers can enhance that potentially today. You just wouldn't want to see it be a walk, trot, canter affair and then want to spark up with the shades going on. So there's a lot to sort of digest and unpack there in race 2 from a form perspective. I do concur, though. I do think that investment strategy jumping cleaner today, just over 12 months since his last win, but he's had 4 runs now. They've come through the Peters and the Carbine with this gelding, and on a clean break, I think that he will certainly be there for a long way. Like Fast Flicker, Russian to the Bar. Well, if you're looking at Fast Flicker, the 2 kilos swing in the way that it finished off the race in better sectionals than what Fast Flicker did. Russian to the Bar has to be rated very highly, but again, it's one of those tricky affairs on how it's going to map and unfold. 7, 4, 2 and 5 there for me. Scotty's with fast flicker. Diggs, you're thinking investment strategy can get the job done. So our opinions are very, very varied there. Leah?
Absolutely. 7, 4, 2, 5 for you, Darren. Diggers 4, 5, 2, 7 and Scott 2, 7, 3 and 5. That brings us to race 3 at Ascot. It comes up at 148 and 5. None So Spicy. Open at $3.20. Now backed into $1.95 here with the TABtouch fixed odds.
Yeah, this is one of the better backed horses in the first half of the card. They're all over this filly from Sean and Jake Casey's yard. Willie Pike, of course, sticks with this 3-year-old today. He has been aboard the debutante Seven Candles in a couple of very impressive barrier trials, but has elected to stay with None So Spicy. So a big vote of confidence. Got a big, big red tick next to its name as a result. $3.20 into $1.95 at the moment. There's Scotty for None So Spicy. Jump, run type of a filly, condition set to suit.
Well, that's exactly right. When you're doing the form on Wednesday, waiting for the markets to go up, you're thinking to yourself, what I'm looking for to bet early is on-speed types on the weekend with the easterly that was forecast. So None So Spicy goes up $3.20, is crunched into $1.95. In the next race, we'll get to Divine Belief, $3.70 into $2.65. Both jump, run, on-speed, 1,000-metre horses. This filly was very good on Melbourne Cup Day. She ran really good time. They dropped her back in grade to a Class 1. It was really bullying. It was theft, really, going back to that Class 1. And she was backed into $1.70 and won very soft. Willie Pike gave her a big rap post-race saying that he thought she had more to offer as well. 5 for me, None So Spicy. I didn't think there were horses underneath her that had the gate speed or the intention to try and hold her out. Even a filly like Nicely Played, who's first up, no trial. She's very quick, but do they want to kick up underneath None So Spicy, or are they happy to sit leaders back and get a beautiful toe into the corner? 5 for me on top, None So Spicy to win again. 7 Candles out of the trials. Loved every single one of them. 3 Gold Maker, very good last start winner. Drops a couple of kilos, gets the same run. And one more too many. Big improver last start, yes. Really tough map today. 5, 7, 3, 1.
Interesting one here, this 7 Candles from Brett Pope's stable. It's really been impressive, have you already indicated there, Scotty. I get the sense too, Diggs, that this 3-year-old is one of those that you do lay your eyes on going to the races for the first time that appear to be a ready-made type of a racehorse.
Yeah, very much so. The trial on Monday was terrific. The trial a fortnight earlier was really good, also beating Chinese Dentist on that occasion, and was able to get past 5 a lot despite breezing in good time, 56.55 on Monday. Just the Monday trial to a Saturday on debut in a Saturday 3-year-old race, not a restricted race, a Saturday 3-year-old race. Now, it might not be the strongest 3-year-old race over the 1,000 metres we've seen this season, but it also, contains a very much informed None So Spicy, and that's the way I've gone. So 5 on top from 3 Gold Maker, 8 Arduette. The run in the Placid Arc period wasn't terrible, and you go back to Belmont early in July, has a second behind Wind and the Lion over this trip, albeit that was at Belmont, not Ascot, so that box needs to be ticked. But I thought possibly capable of running a good race at a big price. And 7 Candles off the back of 2 very good trials, 5, 3, 8 and 7.
Looks awfully hard to beat, this filly, None So Spicy. She's clearly my choice in the event. Beyond that, I'm not really sure which way to go. I'm going to put the first up winner Gold Maker in to run one of the legs of the exotics there. It's drawn to get a pretty economical run if it can hold a spot there. It didn't trial before getting the job done in that 3-year-old No Metro first up, but that again was at Belmont Park. I thought that the 7 Candles on what we've seen, but maps awkwardly here from the draw. And 4 is another one I'm going to include, and that's Serpedo Express, who's never missed a placing in 3 from Mitch Pateman's yard. It's a first-up winner, and it's the first time it gets onto a dry track. All runs have been on rain-affected ground, so we'll include him as a point of interest in the race. 5 clearly from 3, 7 and 4. Boys, nothing further to add?
Nope.
There you go, Leah. There's a set of numbers there that you can etch in stone. And on the other side of this, we'll take a break, of course, and come back with more of our preview on today's big TABtouch Northerly Stakes card.
We will indeed. Just to confirm those numbers again, Darren 5-3-7-4, Diggers 5-3-8-7, and Scott Embry 5-7-3-1. Everyone with the favourite here, the only runner that has been backed in on the TABtouch fixed odds, the remaining all drifting. We'll take a break to hear from our valued sponsors before we're back with Inside Running. You're tuned into TAB Radio. It is 8:28 a.m. and we're up to race 4 here at Ascot for Inside Running. 3 Divine Belief, 265 backed in from 370 is the favourite for Joey as a party. Darren?
He touched upon the pattern and one of the reasons that there's been so much money for horses like her, Divine Belief, 370 and 265 at the moment for her, and she has been clearly the horse who carries the weight of backing. Twain's Angel at 390. We haven't seen the best of her since 6 in a line. She's been unplaced both of her runs back this preparation. And the other mare that might add a bit of intrigue to the race now with Luke Fernie, former $430,000 yearling Celestial Storm, makes her WA debut. She was from the Robbie Griffiths yard. She's over here now, trialled up against Luke's very smart sprinter Bravo Centurion. Okay, well, you've already given us a little pinpointer to Divine Belief, and are you clearly tipping her now on top?
Absolutely, I am. I actually almost convinced myself that she crosses and finds the fence too. She's drawn barrier 9 of 10, but when you look at the speed that's underneath, they've ridden Street Parade for a bit of cover for quite a while. I'm not convinced that Twain's Angel has the gate speed / would be interested in trying to kick up and hold the top. And then almost every other horse in this field is a back marker.
I think this is hers for the taking, Scotty.
So all of a sudden, if she slides across and finds the fence, she's very hard to beat. She carries half a kilo less than what she did first up when she ran into Joker's Grin. And I'm probably suggesting there's no horses of Joker's Grin's ability in this field. So I look at it as potentially an easier race with a softer map and less weight. So yes for me. 3 Divine Belief, 2 Twain's Angel, not willing to by any means give up on her just yet. I mean, that first run behind Almighty Class roped the Mins in that field as well, and he's come out, run a bottler in the Winterbottom Stakes, will be right up the order in the Gold Rush. Then went to the Jungle Mist, and Baby Paris simply blew them up, and there were always going to be fillies and mares that had excuses from that 15-minute delay pre-race. Back to 1,000 metres, never raced over the distance. 1,000-metre horses, 1,000-metre races, just don't know with her. 10 Celestial Storm, really interesting runner in this. Trial behind Bravo Centurion, outstanding. All 4 wins are with blinkers. Luke Fernie takes them off. But if you go back through her form, she's had 16 starts, 3 of those at Group 3 level, 3 of those at listed level. So she's done a lot of racing in the top grade over in the East. Comes to WA and should go well. And then I'll include 5 next best Ruler Rocket with the senior going back on. 3, 2, 10 and 5 for me.
Okay, well, these 2 mares, Divine Belief, Twain's Angel, they've won 11 of 20 starts between them. Celestial Storm, very good trial, but very much negated by the draw here on its debut this afternoon.
Yeah, very much so. It was a terrific trial, though. It was so very impressive. Hard to be against her, and I think a lot of people would have wanted to be with her, but she runs into Divine Belief, and she also has a tricky gait, which probably forces Chris's hand on a day when we're talking about the Easterly being in play and the rail in its position, which should suit front runners. So I'm very much in the corner of Scott here. Divine Belief, very, very keen. I think she goes there off the back of that first up run, which followed an excellent trial, and wins. So 3 on top from 10, Celestial Storm, 2, Twain's Angel. She trialled up particularly well also leading into that first up run, but just doesn't appear to be at the level we thought she might get to. Hopefully she does. And 8, Rupert's Empire. You talk about 1,000-metre horses and first up records. This bloke possesses both. 3, 10, 2 and 8.
Yes, I've got a lock Divine Belief in as well. Of course, it was 11 months and 3 weeks since she was a part of the famous D. Oliver Farewell trilogy. So she's right on cue again. I think that second up today, she'll be awfully hard to beat. So 3 from 2, Twain's Angel, 10, Celestial Storm. Really keen to see her at her first run in this state and see what she can deliver. And the one I'm going to throw in is 6, Halatorian. Only a couple of lengths from Kripolenko, under 3 to Joker's Grin, went to the Batavia and got home very well behind Bayzid, where not many did there that particular day. So 3, 2, 10, 6 layer for me there in race 4.
3, 2, 10 and 6 for Darren. Diggers, 3, 10, 2 and 8. and Scott Embry, 3, 2, 10 and 5 selections there in race 4. Race 5 at Ascot at 3:08, the Schweppes handicap over the 2,200 metres. 2 Kisses from Kelly, opened at $4.60, now into $3.60 and $1.60 here with the fixed.
It's an ambitious move, isn't it, for Kisses from Kelly? Second up, going to 2,200, return behind Royal Toronado. Solid performance it was, but it is a very, very quick step up, and it probably looks a bit rushed on the face of it for me, but the money doesn't suggest that at all, Diggs.
No, it does not. It was a very good return, it must be said. Off one trial only to go to the 1,800 metres last Saturday early in that meeting and run a very good, it must be said, a very good fourth beat, 91.5 behind Royal Toronado.
Yep.
I must admit, Scott, I didn't envisage Kisses from Kelly being here off 7 days, though.
It was also a month between the trial and the return to races. So I'm probably sitting in the same corner. I think it seems, on the face of it, rushed.
Yes, would agree. Would agree. I hope it does win. I really hope it can win the race for trainer Holly Taylor, who this week had to farewell her father, Mark, who was tragically killed in an accident. So it's been a tough old time for Holly, and they had Mark's farewell. I think it might have been yesterday or the day before, actually. So let's hope it can run a great race for Holly and her family as well. Kisses from Kelly. The market's hoping that is the case as well. What I'm more interested in is, with these conditions today, with what Kate Pateman might implement here with Kerman Rock, because we know what we're going to get. Is it going to be Spinnaker up, or are we throwing an anchor?
Well, forget the anchor. Take it off the Dockers logo. You can just go with the Spinnaker. He goes so much better when they allow him to stride.
Yep. And these conditions suit him too, don't they? Just being able to freewheel with a tailwind behind you and just doing what you do best.
Well, it'll push him along the entire back straight. So hopefully Kerman Rock can give plenty of cheek. These staying races that he's in are actually really tough to sort of bet into. The other day, if you were Team Royal Toronado in that race, he's such an enormous run in defeat, but he's still been rolled. So Kerman Rock brings a lot of X factor, but he also makes it very tough to bet into them with confidence. So in the end, I'm actually just going to tip into Kerman Rock because he's fun to watch. 11 for me, Kerman Rock. 5, Henchard. I thought he was huge, Henchard.
Massive run.
That was the first time he'd ever been to 2,100.
And gutsy with it too, Scotty.
I should say first time for Corrine Maynard at 2,100. I agree. Gutsy's a great word to describe how he was. I put him in for second. 10, Arcadia Knight. It was his first staying attempt and he got out of the ground late. Big tick there. 4, Candlelight Supper. She's going to get a very similar run, close-handed to the speed, presenting at the right time. 11, 5, 10, 4. As much as I would love to see Holly Taylor come out and win this race, from a form perspective, I'm going to risk Kisses from Kelly.
Yeah, fair call. Sentiment, though, is there with Holly and those involved with Kisses from Kelly as well. Nick Petridis, Johnny Mars and Timmy White. Henchard was the one that caught me. It was doing the chasing work. It was tough. It was hard. I can't believe it's got out to $11.
Yeah, look, it's one of those races for me. Haven't got a firm handle on it, and probably, to be brutally honest, less interest in it. 6, 10, 2, 4 for me.
Yeah, I think it could be one of those races also. I had question marks everywhere, but I came back to that run of the York Cup winner Henchard, who then did deliver, I think, in defeat. They're a really good performance, beaten under a half a length. Look, if things go his way this afternoon, he can potentially win the race, but I agree with you, Scott. I think Kerman Rock's going to be in front here for a long, long way. Broke the clock last start. They'll run it hard again today, and the conditions will be even more to its advantage. Then 10, Arcadia Knight. Like the last couple of runs over a bit further ground, 18, then to the 21, hit the line well in the Candlelight Supper race. What concerns me is they went across the line in a big blanket, and that's always a bit of a worry when you're trying to pinpoint form. Candlelight Supper clearly can be there. Kisses from Kelly, Tony's Spirit, you wouldn't be sacking completely. But 5, 11, 10 and 4, but I don't know if we've got a real handle on that race, Leah.
And yet the punters feel like they do. Kisses from Kelly, 460 to 360, and Alaskan, $14 into $7.50.
Now, just on that too, yeah, Alaskan, big move. Did cover a bit of ground in the Candlelight Supper run. Chris Parnham on board there. Can you dig deep to find something there with Alaskan or not?
Well, his runs in the Melvista Derby were good enough, but I just think he's racing a a little below his best at the moment. Be nice to see him bounce back. He showed something as a 3-year-old.
But the money outweighs the numbers at the moment, the stats, the form. 14 into 750, it's a good go.
The money in the stayers is normally a lot sharper than the majority of punters, put it that way.
And on that note, we'll send security out there with you this afternoon too, just for a little bit of extra protection.
Absolutely. I think we should keep an eye on you, Scott. So numbers there from Scott Embry, 11, 5, 10 and 4. Diggers, 6, 10, 2, 4. Darren, 5, 11, 10, 4. In what seems to be a more in-depth race than the punters are giving it credit for, according to Scott. Race 6, Ascot, comes up at 3:43, the TABtouch West Speed Platinum Series final over the 1,400 metres. And we've got 5, Janny, hitting the mark at 370, 350, although Darren has been drifting, or 370 out from 350.
Yeah, it has. It's been a little easy. I think it's because of the map for the day where it'll be and how the conditions are likely to unfold there. And there's a weight swing in the favour of a couple of others that it beat last start. We might start with those as well. King Cartel is the first of them we might look at. Scott Diggs from Mitch Pateman's yard had 2 runs in. They've all met each other, pretty much in the last number of weeks here, so you're trying to just cut the cloth according to maybe some weight swings and where they're likely to map. And where this horse is going to map is somewhere near the speed, and you'd think that these conditions are going to suit it ideally.
Comes out, probably finds the top, to be fair. King Cartel knows only one way, has a gate today, which isn't that dissimilar to what he jumped from at his past 2 runs, so there's no knock there. As much as Profit Pocket, in my opinion, looks tricky on paper, Scott, and we had a good chat to Tony yesterday, and he only reaffirmed what I think a few people are thinking. There's every likelihood here, given King Cartel appears your likely leader, that Profit Pocket can slide across and find a spot in the breeze. And I think if she finds that position, she's capable of running an almighty race.
Did he touch on her record from the breeze at all?
Yes, very positive.
It's her spot.
Yep.
Winner 5 starts ago from the breeze. Winner 4 starts ago from the breeze. Dead heat winner first up from the breeze. She loves it. Park her outside of King Cartel. Ride her like the best horse.
That's where she's going to be.
She's tough.
Yeah, she lands
absolutely.
there. She's off for mine. I think she's the one to be.
What about one of these other mares too, Scotty, who maps beautifully in the race, Belle Journey? She's ticking over well. It's again through the Miss Sky High. Janny Foreman, terrific run the other day. Sat 3 deep, didn't get any cover, dragged that 3 deep line into the race. And there is support 11 into 7. So there's a nice feel for Belle Journey to be very competitive in this race.
And 4 starts ago, beaten 2 1/4 Profit Pocket, meets her 2.5 kilos better for a 2 1/4 length defeat. So she's top 4 for me, Belle Journey. But I think Profit Pocket's an each way bet to nothing. I'd be disappointed if she didn't finish in the money. So 5.50 will get me all day. 3 from 2 King Cartel, 5 Janny. Savage drift last start. She was unlayable, and yet she just stormed over the top of them. Very impressive. 13 Belle Journey, 3, 2, 5, 13.
And Diggs?
3, 5, 2, 13. Same 4 as Scott, different order. Quite keen here, Profit Pocket, though, Darren. I think she'll run a mighty race.
They're the 4 numbers for me as well. I've just flipped them around in a marginally different order there. I'm going King Cartel. I like the fact that when they go 12-14, and I'm always knocking this 12-1400 off a really good first-up run, that was a good performance. And so I think it lays that foundation up even stronger again with these conditions. And I think it could equate here to a return to the winners list for King Cartel. So I'll go that way over 3 Profit Pocket and 5 Janny, 13 Belle Journey there. But we've kept a cap on numbers there, that's for sure, in race number 6. We'll, take a look at race 7, the Towton Cup, after a break.
We will indeed. Thank you, Darren, and everyone tipping here again. So the favourite Janny, Darren with 2, 3, 5, 13, Diggers 3, 5, 2, 13, and Scott Embry 3, 2, 5 and 13.
Good on you, Golden Greek. It's 16 minutes away from 9 o'clock, and you are listening to Inside Running this Saturday morning. The Pinnacles continues, TABtouch Northerly Stakes Day, and we were just chatting off air a few moments ago in regards to the TABtouch Punters Club, which is very, very popular. A sellout once again there under the bookies ring, and there'll be no doubt a lot geared up, ready to go, probably dressed as we speak, to get there nice and early to get prime spots there. It's been a really great initiative, the Punters Club, and they love it.
It's a massive concept. They turn out in their droves, and it's well hosted by David Short, who's also a part owner in Keshi Boom, so it could be a massive day for the short man.
Okay, then. He'll be standing tall on stage, at least anyway, today, that is for sure. And so good luck to all of them. They get, I think, Dig's great bang for their buck for what it costs to go to the races there, and little wonder they sell out as quickly as they do.
Exactly right. No, it's a wonderful afternoon. You get everything: entry, race book, TABtouch betting vouchers, food, drink, entertainment, latest betting moves, and an opportunity to win some money as well. So there's no excuse not to be involved.
Okay, and if you can't be at Ascot today and you're down around the Burragoon region, why not pop into the TAB there at Burragoon, which has just had a major upgrade. They've got wonderful improved vision and a layout in the actual agency itself. You can go down there and enjoy the company of the team there from the TAB at Burragoon and enjoy a fabulous day of racing, and they'll be putting on a bit of food and giving away some prizes as well. So good luck to them too. It's been a mainstay of the region, Burragoon. And whilst we're on little notes of interest there, that Royal Ascot Racing Tour going gangbusters at the moment. George back from Hong Kong after this weekend, which is certainly going to be a great weekend up there, and you can give him a call through the week office hours, Monday to Friday, 9322 and in the meantime, have a look at the Mode of Travel site there in the Royal Ascot Racing Tour in June of next year. We're really looking forward to hosting that once again. All right, let's get back into it, and the market here for the GA Towton Cup layer. This is the listed event at 4:15 today, and there are no scratchings.
None whatsoever over the 2,200 metres. 3 Diamond seemed 370, 160 the favourite for Clint Johnston Porter. And before we get into that as well, Darren, we'll just remind listeners that we do have Riley Morgan and Matt French there in the yard today, and we'll be broadcasting on both at 7+ as well as 7-2.
Of course, they're looking after Scotty, the Geraldton coverage. The GTC have got a meeting up there at Utakura.
Been a big week on 7+. Wednesday, Belmont Park. Thursday, Albany. Friday, Esperance. The boys are in Geraldton today. If they race in WA, they're on it.
They're there, absolutely doing a mighty job there too. Let's dig a bit deeper now into this market for the Towton Cup. The race won last year by Black Fantasy. Buster Bash, who won a Perth Cup, subsequently came out of this race as well. How do you see this? Do we have horses that are going to progress on towards the Perth Cup that can have a big impact here?
I think there's plenty of them that are on their way towards the Perth Cup, and in fact there's probably a few here today like your Simplies and your Hemlock Stones who are here more so than anything to try and collect some points to make sure that they get themselves towards the Perth Cup. And there's others here that are off the 28-day spacing like a Diamond Scene who skipped the AJ Scale Cup to make sure that he doesn't have too many runs before he gets to the 1st of January.
Yeah.
So a lot of things going on tactically.
It's a hard race, isn't it? Because you've mentioned a couple there, Buckets Ridge, Diamond Scene, and Simply, all off that month between runs at 2,200.
Well, the winner on the 14th of September that you can see on the form guide there of Buckets Ridge, that was off 28 days, so maybe it's less of a concern for him. But a Diamond Scene, you'd imagine that they skipped the Scale Cup just because they didn't want to give him a run in that, in this, in an ATA, and then a Perth Cup. It's just too much racing for him. So, as I said, there's a lot of tactics going on of who's here for what reasons, who's just treading water, making sure they get themselves to the Cup, but maybe not that keen on actually winning a race like this to pick up the points. Tough race, but what also struck me is it's got no speed, like less than no speed. There's not a single horse in here that has an intention to lead.
It might well be that Simply could be left by default. Declan Bates loves a front runner, as we know, and just because of the fact it's got huge weight relief. I know it's, pardon me, a month between runs, but it just because of default, with no other horse in the race capable of leading, could find itself there with freshness on its side.
I identified one that I'd convinced myself was the logical and only leader in the race, and that was Red Sun Sensation.
Well, he'll probably pull his way there if that's the case, because he hasn't settled.
Correct, and that's the opportunity today to allow him just to relax a little bit under himself. If they come out, not even a positive, they come out neutral, they'll still find the top here. He's got more gate speed than anything in this field. And he led a race not that long ago, 12 months ago-ish. It was a Group 3 at Moonee Valley, and he led at the Valley and went very close to winning at that level. So I thought today was the day for Red Sun Sensation to find the front and control the race. So I went his way on the each way. 5 Red Sun Sensation, 4 in good order. He was the best of the closers behind Sentimental Hero in the Scale Cup. He looks to be building nicely. 3 Diamond Scene. I've got a love association with this horse. I think he is capable of winning a Perth Cup this season. And 11 in Simply with the big weight relief that he gets. 5, 4, 3, 11 for me.
Much more to add there, Digby.
3 Diamond Scene for me. He is a month between runs, like a couple of horses in this race. But even if they only go a little bit steady, one thing that Diamond Scene does possess is an excellent turn of speed. So he might need to be showcasing that to win this race, but I think you're getting a decent enough quote, and for mine he's quite progressive. So 3 on top from 11, Simply, the horse that you mentioned, Darren. I'd be surprised if he led, but he does get, as you said, significant weight relief, and you'd like to think he's nice and fresh there today. 2 Buckets Ridge and 4 in good order. I didn't find a spot for Red Sun Sensation, albeit he should be leading this race for a long way. I'm just a little bit concerned at how he's finishing off his races. 3, 11, 2 and 4.
Well, he probably works against himself a bit too hard in running, and that doesn't help his cause there. He just can't really drop the bit and want to settle, so he gets involved in these wrestling contests with Pat. So, look, I do probably agree, I think, in part with you, Scotty, in regards to Red Sun Sensation leading. Simply maybe they're pulling its way up there as well on the fresher side, but I can't imagine that they're going to go hard, not unless Pat says, I've had enough of fighting with this horse, I'll let him go a bit. So 4, 3, 2 and 11, I'm going in good order. I thought he finished off as well as any in the scale. To beat Diamond Scene, a fan like you. 2 Buckets Ridge and 11 in Simply. 4, 3, 2 and 11.
All right, 4, 3, 2, 11 for Darren. Diggers 3, 11, 2, 4. And Scott Embry, 5, 4, 3, 11, leaving Buckets Ridge out of his selections. Race 8, Ascot, comes up at 4:55. The TABtouch Northerly Stakes Group 1 over the 1800. 17, 18, the scratchings here. 14, Super Spink. 4.20 backed in from $8 to attrition. 4.80 in from 5. 16, Storyville opened at 4.50, now out to $5. 7, Democracy Manifest, $7 out from 5.50. Double figures upwards. The rest are in the feature.
Yes, the money horse is Super Smink. They have really targeted the mare, and with justification. She's been fabulous in her 4 runs so far. She came up with a beautiful barrier draw, of course, earlier in the week. She'll leave out of gate number 6. She had to go right back. It was an exceptional effort. She finished off in superb sectionals in the Railway Stakes when finishing 3rd after winning an Asian Bow, and she's trending the right way there. So, Scotty, we're not surprised with the level of the money that has come for Super Smink, but as we prefaced at the start of the program here, you're all about 3-year-old fillies with 50 that have got above average ability, and you're very, very bullish about Grant Milana Williams to continue their fine record in this race.
And not exclusively fillies. This time last year I tipped Zipaway, the 3-year-old gelding, in the race, and he went close to beating Zaki and Dom to Shoot. It's just you feel like you've got history on your side, and Willie Pike's given you the lead that you wanted. If he said no after Guineas, I'm not interested in riding 50 kilos for Storyville, then I'm probably not interested in tipping her. But the fact that Willie Pike's done the hard work to get to 50, they've come out on Tuesday and drawn barrier number 1, I think they just get their chance here, 3 back the fence, and trust that she, 1, hasn't had too much, and if she's had enough, then she could flop badly, but 2, that the gap arises for her.
How do you reckon he'd be tracking this morning, the Wizard?
He wouldn't be in the greatest mood.
It's been a while since he's ridden 50.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and as we get older,
very rarely.
It takes... And he,
he was in great spirits Wednesday, down to 52. That's another 2 kilos in...
That was Wednesday.
3 or 4 days.
He said he might be a little angrier than normal.
Is that possible?
Eh?
Is that possible? He can get quite feisty.
When you're starving yourself, it's very possible.
I wouldn't know, Darren. Never have.
No, that's true.
Don't intend to.
No, I can't imagine you at this stage of your life wanting to go down that pathway, Diggs. You're happy and you're in good shape. And round is a shape.
I don't know about good. I'm just round.
Did you say round is a shape,
Well,
Darren?
it is. Last time I looked, round was a shape, Diggs.
Yeah,
you're in good shape.
I'm extremely round. Look... Gee, she is short, Scott Super Smink, but if you go back this campaign, she has not put in a dodgy one. Like, all have been high class, and she's been impacted by gates, none more so than most recently in the Railway Stakes. So you can understand why there is a level of support for her.
I think if you watch the Railway Stakes in review, Light Infantryman's unlucky. Democracy Manifest is unlucky. But realistically, out of the railway horses, she's the one that you want to follow up with going out to the Northerly Stakes today. Other horses, obviously, attrition. Let's talk about him. His win, weight for age 1900 in the Hill Stakes, was very, very good. And it was the figure that he posted was simply better than anything in this field has to their name.
Most say that race will equate very much to a Group 1 Northerly at 1,800 metres. Everything that he delivered there that day. Good to have Mitch Freedman over here with a horse as well. He's a fine young horseman, great young trainer on the way up. And I think attrition brings a really different level of form and interest to the race.
Well, he's already a Group 1 winner. He won the Toorak, so he's already ticked that box. He can ride the speed. Bo Mertens rode him for speed from an awkward draw in the Hill Stakes. Look, the only thing I don't like about him is the trial over the 1,000 metres at Belmont Park, but really you probably shouldn't read too much into that anyway. It's just a tick-over gallop for him. I'm going to side up, as I always do, with the 3-year-old, so I'll stick with Storyville, and we look like we're probably going to sneak each way about her. 2, attrition. He's the Eastern States galloper I'm most concerned about. He's got the right profile. He's got the right pattern. 14, Super Smink. It'd be a great story if she was able to be a champion 2-year-old and then a couple of years later win a Group 1 Northerly at 1,800 for the first time with a massive group of owners. And 12, Zip Away. The blinkers go back on. All of his wins are in shades and he can settle a lot closer from that ideal draw. 16, 2, 14 and 12.
Well, isn't it funny too, the horse we mentioned earlier who sadly left us yesterday, Jack Sorbetta, won a Karrakatta Plate as a 2-year-old, won a railway stakes. Well, let's hope that she can do the same, a Karrakatta, and win a Northerly. So I think she's very, very close to being the one to follow, I think, into the race there. Just on that, and I'm going to build a few other little cases here for the race and where the tempo might come from. And I would imagine that Jay Whiting will be given the instruction, you go forward and you ride these conditions because it will suit old Maricino, that is for sure. But just in those, and I guess when you start bringing it back to weights too, Scotty, 50 kilos, champion fillies winner off the back. People have been asking, what did she beat there? What did she beat in the Guineas? They ran the first 1,000 in 59.29. Something had to get home from the back. Was it more flattering than maybe what it should have been? I mean, there's all those sorts of elements that go into it when you're doing the form. But the eye doesn't lie. And she hit the line and she was never going to get beaten in those races, really.
No, my favourite part about her 2 victories is that they were sectionally so different.
Yep.
She's come through a gruelling Guineas, and prior to that she's come through a champion fillies where they walked and she out-sprinted them. So that's the best part, I thought, for her, is that whether they go fast early, whether they go slow early, she's still managing to get the job done.
Yeah, OK. Blinkers Zip Away. That's significant in the race there too. You tipped the horse into this race 12 months ago. He does go back up to weight for age. He's just been a run behind, hasn't he, since missing that run early on in the preparation. 2023 Guineas winner. I think the blinkers going back on's a real tick there from the draw as well.
Any love as a complete and utter maddie? Let's Gallivant.
What a run.
He was unreal in the railway.
And so was Mojo Rhythm.
Yep.
They're both very similar runs in that race. They're both at long odds here. They're back out to weight for age, which can be much different, of course, to the handicap of the railway. Let's lock them in. We'll load them up. You're going definitely Storyville.
16, 2, 14, 12.
16, 2, attrition, 14 and 12. Digby Beacham.
I'm with attrition here, Darren. He's got a good racing pattern. He's proven at weight for age. He's got excellent form lines over there on the East Coast. And Mitchell Freedman extremely happy with how he's adapted to life here in the West. So 2, attrition on top from 16, Storyville, 14, Super Smink. Needs to tick that weight for age box, needs to tick the 1,800 metres, and saying that the market believes she'll do both. And 7, Democracy Manifest, was devoid of any luck in the railway stakes. Mark Zara makes a point of coming back to Western Australia to try and redeem himself. 2, 16, 14 and 7.
Yeah, I don't think the barrier's a massive advantage for him, but I agree with you. He certainly didn't get the real rub of the green in that last 250. There might have been a couple that were in the same category. But I'm 14 at the end of it all, Super Smink. Love to see her win this Group 1 today. 16, Storyville. Whilst I'm hedging my bets a little there, just on that form through the champion fillies and also the Guineas. Attrition, enormous respect there. no luck in the 5 Diamonds at all. Fabulous win in the Hill Stakes, and as Scott touched upon, he is a Group 1 winner. And Democracy Manifest for 4th, 14, 16, 2, 7. And I'd love under these conditions today to see third run in Maricino get out there, fly a flag and give backers a bit of a thrill coming into the home straight. I'm sure that he'll be in front there at some stage in the straight at very, very long odds. So that's our look at the Northerly.
So Darren with 14, 16, 2, 7. Diggers with 2, 16, 14, 7. And Scott with 16, 2, 14, 12. And before we get on to the next race, I think it's appropriate to mention the sentimental connection that the Duncans at Oakland Park Farm have here in this race with Super Smink, as Neville Duncan did breed Super Smink's damn sminky shorts.
Yep.
And so, there's that sentimental connection, and he's then passed on Sminky shorts to his son, Ben Duncan, down there at Forest View Farm. So the whole family is going to be very involved in this race here going into
They'll be cheering.
The Group 1 and TABtouch Northerly Stakes.
Absolutely. It's a big day for them too. And well said too, because the connection, the association will long live in this state, that is for sure. Now, how does the market look in the last?
It is the TABtouch Have You Got the Touch handicap over the 1,100 metres, and Sean O'Donnell jumps aboard the favourite 6 all play here, Darren, $4 in from $4.20, but we see 12 Sunlit Fresco opened at 14, more than halving its quote down into $6 now in the second line. Yeah,
it's a speedy mare, that's for sure. It's a race that looks to have furious pace in it, Scotty and Diggs. Willie Pike, incidentally, they're on to 8 Lon's Delight, and 13 into 8 to a good move in that market as well. I think it's a pretty interesting race to round out the day, particularly with the speed factor.
And the other interesting part is that our 2 favourites, first line of betting, second line of betting, All Play and Rachanko, both sent back to trials between runs. So do you have trust issues in either/both of them after that?
What I liked about Rachanko in the trial was that it sat off the pace.
Which they'll do today.
Yeah, they will, and that's exactly right. So I think it showed that it's more than capable of taking a sit there and not having to, do the speed bullock work up at the head of the field like it has been accustomed to doing. So I'm interested to have a look there. The run, I'm going to tip in the last Lon's Delight there, went around for Mitch Pateman's yard there first up. Gee, produced some good numbers, no trial, beaten a couple of lengths to Joker's Grin, hit the line really well. And if it takes that extra bit of improvement going out of the run for his yard, I thought that Lon's Delight might be a little bit of an each-way play in the last.
Sectionally, he was, and visually, as good a run as Joker's Grin. Just settled in a different postcode to them and reeled off some great closing sections. I think it took Mitch Pateman a little while to convince Willie Pike to take the ride because he didn't have a great time of it when this horse was trained by Grant and Alana. But now that he's booked Willie Pike, I can understand why Lon's Delight's going to have plenty of followers.
Well, I'm going to lock it in as my each-way play for the day, or one thereof. Rachanko, who's got a great strike rate there and had to go back to the trials, of course, and I thought what we saw indicated that he might just be able to bring a little bit more versatility to the way that he races. And I'm also going to put in maybe one who can get home with that speed, just from the draw, Treasured Queen. But look, it's a tricky one. This Sunlit Fresco's got dazzling pace and it'll be making a beeline toward the front, but there's going to be a few inside of her that will want to do the same.
I thought that she'd still cross and find the top. With the change in tactics on Rachanko, I'm not convinced the 7-year-old Famous Journey's as quick as what he may look. And obviously with King's Honour, the issue with him is sometimes he jumps, sometimes he doesn't. So I still thought Sunlit Fresco, drawn inside of Treasured Queen, could get across. So I'm going to follow up with this mare. She's a big step up in grade, but she was very impressive the other day. Each way, 12 Sunlit Fresco, 5 Rachanko, 6 All Play, and 8 in Lon's Delight. All Play's trial was great. Run behind Joker's Grin in the Lon's Delight field was very good without being ridden out whatsoever. 12, 5, 6 and 8.
And plenty of gear changes on All Play there, which has been noted. Diggs?
Yeah, I thought, like you and Scott, that there was a heap of top-end tempo. Therefore, a horse who might be settling in the rearward position and getting home over the top of them was worth considering. And the horse that I've settled on here is 7, Wicked Venom, was luckless 2 starts ago and most recently made good ground down the middle of the Belmont track when it was an advantage to be hard up on the fence. Nobility won that race, albeit narrowly. So each way, Wicked Venom, there's been a chip away at the price around that $7, $8 after being $13, $14 when markets open. So 7 each way from 6 All Play, 12 Sunlit Fresco, your likely leader, and 8 Lon's Delight. 7 each way from 6, 12 and 8.
And for the record, 8, 5, 10, 12. Leah, for me there in that final event.
Fantastic. So in the last, Darren, Diaz and Scotty all have each way bets here. In race 9, Darren with 8, 5, 10, 12, Diggers 7, 6, 12, 8, and Scott 12, 5, 6 and 8. Before we head to Ballarat in 10 minutes, let's wrap up with some best bets.
Yeah, BB time here. Your special for the day, thanks, Scott.
Race 4, number 3, Divine Belief.
I like what I hear there, Divine Belief. Your best and Digby?
Race 4, number 3, Divine Belief.
Mine is race 4, number 3, Divine Belief. So we are all of Divine Belief.
I think Profit Pocket's an each-way special too. Race 6, number 3, I'm quite keen on her.
Each way you're playing a Profit Pocket as well. What's the value play for you there, Digby?
The play is Divine Belief into Profit Pocket each way. So that is race 4, number 3 into race...
6, number 3.
Correct.
Mine's race 5, Henchard, number 5. And I'm going to play that into race 9, number 8, Lon's Delight. Both really good each-way hopes, I thought. Now, time for your knock of the day, the lay of the day. Digby.
Race 4, number 2, Twain's Angel.
Very cool.
Race 2, number 5, Rush into the Bar.
Yep. Because I've tipped Super Smink, I've therefore got a knock and lay Storyville.
No, it doesn't fit our profile. Has to be under 440.
Under 440, does it? Well, that didn't apply to Digby about 2 weeks ago, if my record serves me correctly.
What was the horse, Darren? I'll take objection to that.
No. You want to knock one at $7.50 one day, Cobb.
I wouldn't have thought so.
All right, okay, Storyville can't be the lay for the day. All right, well then Twain's Angel it has to be then, if I've broken the rule.
Back inside the right zones.
All right then, okie doke. So Twain's Angel becomes it. Okay, thank you indeed for your company, Digby. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Holding an end up at the track.
Yes.
As always, big day for you in the yard as well as the team. Don't forget Geraldton as well. Big coverage there. And just in conclusion, can we quickly send a big birthday wish out to Janae Grigsby, who's very well known, of course, in our racing industry there. And Janae's celebrating a birthday today too. So all the best to Janae, and hopefully she has a fabulous day, enjoys it and finds a few winners.
Absolutely. Happy birthday.
Absolutely, indeed. All right, that's it. That's our program here, Inside Running, and we'll be back with the opening event at 12:29, our scene setter, just a little before then. I'm assuming we're at the hut today once again, down there with Marty and the team. Digby? No, we're not.
Hutless.
We're hutless today.
Back here.
Okay. All right then. So we won't be doing that then, that is for sure. But stay tuned. We'll give you as much as we can there on the way to Ascot, of course, with that first of 9 events at 12:29. Thanks for your company this morning.